Good day. My name is Yani, and I just like to share something that was quite an eye-opener on epiphany to me, because a lot of parents that I work with, I do assist parents to strengthen their cases and do the admin work and research and stuff like that for them. So a lot of them ask or have this idea that nobody's listening to them. And it's because there's a case against you, and in that case, all they look at is you. So if the judge in your case did something wrong, the people would say, "But the judge, no, he did this wrong, he did this wrong," and nobody's doing anything about that. Or the children's lawyer, in my case, did something wrong, and nobody is doing anything about that. That means they must be corrupt. That's what the parents usually, or not all of them, but a lot of them, they think like that. So in this case, all they look at is you. So if you want to have them look at the judge, you have to determine what mistake, specific mistake the judge did wrong, and then open a new case. And in that case, all they look at is the judge. And for the children's lawyer, in your case, you have to open a new case. And in that case, guess who are they going to look at? So I hope the three examples that I gave you, will give you some insights. And if you want more insights and things that will help you just get unstuck and know where to report which crime or what misconduct, malpractice is quite a challenge. It's almost like you have been randomly selected to play in this game, and if you figure it out, you can make millions because if you follow my page, you'll see the payouts that these government institutions make for the mistakes that their judge and their lawyer did in different cases. So let's get their cases open so that you can go point out and have them investigated, because you can't do that in your case. And if you need assistance, follow our page, like it. You can apply for assistance. We can give you um, quite a different amount of resources, but we play our cards very close to our chest because we don't want advanced technology to fall into the wrong hands, because the abusers already have too much um, leverage on people that they're not supposed to have. If they can't control you at home, then they abuse you by proxy, get other people against you. By the way, which bring me to another important epiphany for a lot of people is there are two kinds of people that say the family court is corrupt. It's the innocent people, the ones that you know and that you've seen their case, you know they didn't do anything wrong, and then it's the guilty ones that didn't get their way in the court system, and then they want to gather negative advocates against the court to force them, just like what they did with their family that they couldn't control. Then they make false, misleading, and exaggerated statements behind your back and get the court to control you. And then they made the false allegation, and then maybe a year later, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, the court discovered there was a lie made back then. And by the way, that's how we know it's 25% of cases that make false allegations. 75% of them are presumed true because nobody keeps track of the parent that gave up the day it happened because they didn't have the money to bring the case back over and over and over, or they didn't have the time. They just gave up. Nobody keeps track of them. Nobody keeps track of the person when that happened to them. The false allegations were made. They landed on the street. The abuser got uh, emergency protection order behind their back. They didn't even have a chance to say anything. So it's very traumatic to them, and they commit suicide. Who's counting them? No, they will point at that person and say, see, there was something wrong with him. I told you, he's unstable or she's unstable. And that's why the liar got the e- emergency protection order. So whatever you do after the false allegations become proof of what they allege you did. It's quite twisted, but that's the way they think. If you want a normal person to act crazy, what's the easiest way to do that? Now, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm asking you, as a logical person, what is the easiest way so that you can start thinking for yourself? It's take their children. If it's a calm, protective person, what will you do? He or she will get angry. And then you point to the anger and say, see, that's why we have to take the children. You have anger issues. So whatever you do after the false allegations become their evidence for the false allegations. That never happened. You never did it, but now you're angry at the injustice. But that's not how they see it. They were not there. And then you think, oh, no, no, no. I have nothing to hide because I'm an honest, reliable person. I'm going to go for a psychological evaluation because I didn't do anything wrong. I know it because I was there. And guess what? Then, surprise, everybody has something wrong with them. Even you can Google this for yourself. The pathologist, their biggest complaint about the mental health professionals is that they overdiagnose and over prescribe things to people. For example, common life experiences like sadness, common reactions become disorders or diseases, and then they want to treat you. But the pathologists are real scientists. In at the university, go look. Many of them have two faculties for psychology. The one is Bachelor's of Arts, the other one is Bachelor's of Science. So if it's not a science, it's not very accurate. Science is very accurate. But the judge, he doesn't know that. He think all mental health professionals are the same. So if you should discover that there are things that you and have never even considered that might help you to strengthen your case, you can just contact us and apply for assistance. Now, there is a vetting process, and we don't work with everybody because, like I said, we don't want our advanced techniques to fall into the wrong hands. But if you're vetted as a safe, calm, protective parent, there are so much resources that the only thing is that you have to work the system and you have to understand the system, but it's going to take time. Just like when you learn Monopoly for the first time or whatever game you played, you didn't sit and read all the rules and then go play. You started to play, which is the same thing that's happening now to you, is that you're playing this game or fighting this battle, but you don't know the rules. And as you go, the people start teaching you the rules. Some people then play poker that way. So that's what we do. We help you, we teach you the rules as we go on because you can't spend 4 years to learn the laws just like that the opposition lawyer that's going against you. So you're at a bit of a disadvantage because you've never broken up a family. Maybe you did, I don't know, but a lot of people never broken up a family before, and now suddenly they have to defend themselves against a professional breakuper of families that do it for a living. No wonder they struggle. The cards are stacked against you. So if you want to turn their tables a bit on them, use their own uh, diction, their own vocabulary against them, and keep them accountable for what they really did wrong to you, specific things. There are payouts in Washington State. You should see that. You can Google this stuff. It's available on the internet. But you know what? When you search on the internet, you don't know who to listen to. So if you want to learn anything, like in this case, who do you know who to listen to? Because this one say that and this one say something opposite. So how do you know who you can listen to? Now you're probably going to think I'm going to tell you you should listen to me, and then I give you the reasons why. I'm not going to tell you that. But what I'm going to tell you is consider who you're listening to because a boatload of people will tell you things that they think work, but they can't point to any person living today or that lived in the past that did what they did to get the results they claimed they would, especially common law people. They are referred to by the courts as pseudo law because they come up with weird, wacky things, and then they teach that to other people, and it's a lot of fun being in that group. And then you ask, okay, which case? Give me the case number that won by using this strategy of yours. Immediately the guy becomes defensive. Now, if it was that successful, I would at least see one case that was won with your method. Now, why is it, if it really worked, that there's no case where you can point and say, okay, this is what the guy did? So anyway, I didn't want to make a long story, but I touched on a few very important concepts to help you get a bit unstuck. Now, if you're still stuck, you know where to find me. And like I said, I am so busy, I might not be able to take you on. And I'm also training other Mackenzie friends. So if you want to learn, it's a great opportunity. Even if I can't help you with your case, you can get better at understanding what to look for. And something else that's very important is you get different types of intelligences. You can Google this. Um, Initially, he started out with 7 different types of intelligences. And then when the book Emotional Intelligence was written years ago, then people got, oh, emotional intelligence. We have multiple different types of intelligence. Now, people that are very good with linguistic intelligence, linguistic language, they become lawyers, computer programmers, because they understand language and the structure of language. And lawyers usually become judges. And a lot of politicians have been lawyers or judges in the past. So lawmakers usually also very uh, linguistically intelligent. So if you're a person that's emotionally intelligent, that's a total different intelligence. Or you're a person that is uh, your musical intelligence very good, but your linguistic intelligence is not that good. Now you're like a soccer player that have to play tennis. You don't have the gear, you don't know the rules, but you have to go play tennis. Now, in a fair fight, I would say let the tennis player come play soccer with you. But now you don't have that option. You are forced into go play tennis, and the stakes are very high. They take your children. But the rewards can also be very high because there is a higher court, and that higher court will keep these guys that make their mistakes in their cases accountable. Not in your case, but in their cases. So if you want to know, and you would be surprised if somebody's been working with you in a day, you can find fault with that person. And you know that because they have found how many mistakes with you. Everything you say get twisted into a mistake. Now imagine what you would be able to show in the years that they've been busy with you that they really did wrong. You don't even have to twist anything. You just go find that and do something. But there's a caveat. You have to act swiftly because if you pass, there's something that they call a statute of limitations. Each law has its own statute of limitations. So if it passed that time, you can't claim anymore. So when would now be a good time to get some assistance and get unstuck? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate if you watch this far. It shows me you're an action taker. You probably need some assistance, or at least you are investing in yourself, because that's the most important aspect of this, is that they can't take that away from you. They might take your money, they might take your children, they might take everything, your house, whatever. Because nowadays the cops can come and take you out of the house. No evidence, just a very convincing story that somebody told behind your back under oath. Now, imagine if you can prove a pattern of false, misleading, and exaggerated statements made under oath in court. Who do you think the judge is going to believe? If it's a good judge, who do you think he's going to believe? The person that have a proven record that's recorded in the documents of the court. It's not just he said, she said. No, this is under oath. Is the judge going to believe their story, or you that didn't lie? So anyway, to your success, and I hope to see you soon.